I think they're going to win 7 ball games this year.
Yeah, I think it's going to be, but even when that happens, the one thing about the Eagles, they're always giving you a lot to talk about.
Oh, yes.
It's always kind of fun.
It is.
Good or bad, it's kind of fun.
It always is. Make sure you guys check out AngeloCataldi.com. By the way, the picture here too, and here's the lead, or here's the headline: friendships are killing the Eagles.
Yeah.
Make sure you guys check out the line here and check out the blog here. He's got it going on, and we love reading it each and every single day. Last year, a parade. This year, chaos. I'll leave you with that. Make sure you check it out. Angelo, thank you so much, my good friend.
Take care, buddy.
You got it. Angelo Cataldi. The unmasking of Nick Sirianni. The unmasking. That goes right over there. Always delivers. Oh, by the way, I got another one here for you. It's time to do this. Let's go, Jake Elliott. You're fucking out. The guy sucked in 25. The guy sucked in 24. This guy was the 3rd worst in 24. This past season, he's the worst kicker. Not that you're going to save a shitload of money when it comes to cap, but the guy stinks. It's time to move on from that guy, too. Bring some competition in. Your kicker stinks. Jake Elliott, let's go. You're going to make all these moves on the offensive side? Get rid of that guy. He's not good. Okay? He's just not. It's time to move on. You're paying that guy a crap load of money, too, for the lack of production. So it's time. I mean, somebody asked me this yesterday about this guy, and they're like, hey, Sills, what do you do with Elliott? What do you do with Elliott? You bring competition in. You bring a dude in that's going to create a little bit more competition for the guy. Hopefully, you can move off him. Look at what they did. What was the team that signed? You guys had Dicker the kicker, and then you ended up staying with Justin Tucker. I don't know. I agree. He's a liability. And yes, he's a liability, dude. I mean, Justin Tucker. I think Justin Tucker was running out of steam in Baltimore. I don't think they cut loose of Justin Tucker because of all that BS that went on with him. I think they cut loose of Justin Tucker because he started falling apart. Okay? Dude makes $6 million. And the guy was like terrible this last year. And in 24, he was terrible. Bold prediction, number 1. Eagles will be 5-12 or 6-11. Okay, listen. I think you're between 7 and 9 wins. That's where I'm hanging. I think you're between 7 and 9, okay? Hey, Phil, and I do watch baseball. Maybe not like you and your Phillies, but I watch all baseball. Okay, I do. I watch all baseball. Me, this year, I would say this. I think the Mets will see what Bichette. It's a 1-year deal. I'm not a fan of that. The Yankees didn't do anything. And even Aaron Judge is bitching about it. They're all reporting to Tampa. I think they play on Friday. Exhibition ball starts. Phillies will go to Dunedin and take on the Blue Jays. And if I'm not mistaken, I think also on Saturday, the Rays are hosting in Port Charlotte. I think the Braves. The Yankees have the worst defensive baseball team in the last 25 years. And it's the worst defensive baseball team that the Yankees have had since the boss passed away. What about their defense? The Yankees are terrible on defense. Sills, watch the Dodgers three-peat. Yeah. Well, they got the best GM in baseball, and Andrew Friedman. Andrew Friedman went from the Rays to the Dodgers, and he's built the farm system back up. And, of course, they have an open checkbook. They can do whatever they want. But Friedman still puts the team together, and Dave Roberts, in my opinion, who should have been the Padres manager years ago, they never offered him the gig. Guy's a Hall of Famer. He's got 3 titles already. He's going for number 4. This guy's going to have 4 potential World Series titles. 4. Bruce Bochy. I mean, this This guy's going to have a better record than Bruce Bochy. Says, I see us 14-13 or 6-11. Now, Tyler, that's not a terrible take. That's not a terrible take there. No in between. You know what? I don't hate that. Tyler, I don't hate that. By the way, Big Z's going to join us at the bottom of the hour. I don't hate that take. Okay, you're either going to be a Super Bowl champion or you're going to be a football team that's going to be potentially in the top 10 when it comes to picking in the draft. I actually like that. Dude, Shohei Ohtani is must-see television. I've never seen a guy throw a baseball 103, steal 50 bases, hit 50 bombs, and he's must-see television. He is. He's must-see TV. Like, it's like watching Bonds. Bonds is the best baseball player in my lifetime that I covered. Bonds and Ricky Henderson. When I was in San Francisco, we had Ricky Henderson and Barry Bonds. And my wife and I used to go to Giant games. I tell people this all the time. Every time my wife and I went to a Giants game, Bonds hit a homer. He was just incredible. He got like 3 pitches every game, and he hit them all. Incredible. A huge Barry Bonds fan. Yeah, they're going to lock out in December. Probably finish the season, get the World Series, and there'll be a lockout starting next year. Gwynn was great. I know Tony Gwynn. By the way, his wife and his kids, they follow my kid in her rugby exploits. Yeah, his wife is a tremendous friend of mine. And I've done a lot of things with her when I was on 1090. And we used to do a lot of events with Tony Gwynn's wife. Great family. Great family. I love Tony Gwynn. Tony Gwynn was more proud of the fact that when he left SDSU, that he was the all-time assist guy in basketball because he played basketball at SDSU for the Aztecs before Steve Fisher got there. And I know Steve Fisher very well, too, won the national title at Michigan. And he also coached the Fab Five. And I'm friends with Steve Fisher. And Tony Gwynn was before Steve Fisher. I can't remember who the coach was. But Tony Gwynn was like the all-time leading assist guy in the history of Aztec basketball. Tony Gwynn was awesome, man. I'll tell you this, too. Rico, he'd come on my program before he passed away. And we did a big show when he died. He died, like we found out, and we did this gigantic. I did like 4 hours. And you know what people were doing? They were calling into the program. Dan, I met him at a taco place, and all we would talk about was basketball, Little League baseball. Guys would call in. Gwynn was everywhere. He never left San Diego. He never left it. And they never talked baseball. Tony Gwynn was so loved. He was like Cal Ripken in Baltimore. I think Yamamoto is a phenomenal player. I think that was obviously a special sign by the Dodgers. He was electric in the World Series. Yamamoto was awesome. I mean, the way he pitched and how Dave used him. You know, Dave Roberts doesn't get enough credit in how he used that pitching staff because remember something, the Dodgers don't have a bullpen. Okay, and Dave made it happen. You know, he would go longer with certain guys. I think they're going to be better without Kershaw because I think they're going to elevate more people. Tony Gwynn is my favorite hitter behind Richie Ashburn and Pete Rose. Let me tell you something, Steve. If Tony Gwynn played in New York with those 8 batting titles, Tony Gwynn would be looked at as like even larger than life. Just insane. I think one year he only struck out 25 times. It was just, I mean, the year he hit 398. He had 398 one year, 394, I think it was. He was just an incredible hitter. Who would 5 guys you would not draft in this first round raise red flags? I'll get to that, Kyle. I want to look at that. I want to go more in detail with that. Yeah, 8 batting titles. Think about that. I think Carew is 7. when he was in, I think Carew won 7. He may have won 1 in Anaheim with the Angels, but I know that Rod Carew is 7. I think Cobb has 8 batting titles, and I know Gwynn has 8. I think they're both tied with batting titles. Sills, Angelo's negative makes you look like the Eagles cheerleader. You know what? I'll come around on this. I think Nick has mastered. I think he's mastered the front office of Philly. And it's easy to master. He's just not going to fight for anybody. He's just not going to fight for everybody. Where do you rank Ken Griffey Jr. all time, Sills? Well, let me see. Bonds, 762. Aaron, 755. Ruth, 714. Pujols. Then it's A-Rod. Then it's Edmonds. Griffey was actually the player of the decade in the 90s, not Bonds. I think if Griffey, Phil, if Griffey didn't play in Cincinnati and at the Kingdome, he probably has more home runs like if he plays in Boston or down in Atlanta. Garrick's at 490. You're right. Garrick's at 493. That's right. Williams is at 528. Reggie's at maybe I think Mantl's at 536. Mantl's at 536. Reggie's up there too at 560 something. But Griffey's one of the greatest all-around players since Mays. But Bonds has 8 gold gloves. Now, everyone always remembers the play at the plate with Sid Bream, where he didn't throw him out when he was with the Pirates. And that will always be held against him. But I covered Bonds. I was the post-game show host, and I used to have Bonds on my program. I've never seen anything like Barry Bonds. Just insane, okay? Richie Asprin had the most hits from 50 to 59. He played with Mantle and Aaron. Yeah, and dude, don't forget, Clemente was just starting then too. Damn, Dan knows ball. Who's the guy who said he doesn't? Well, I would probably say Griffey, all around players, all around baseball players, Griffey, Bonds, Mays. I'll tell you, man, Mike Trout's a hell of a player. Mike Trout will go down as one of the greatest all-around players. Mantle, you put in that conversation. I would have to put Mickey in there. Clemente was spectacular. I mean, as a ball player all around. Oh, hey, how about this, guys? In right field in Pittsburgh, for 17 years, you had Clemente. There was a 1-year gap, and then you went another 16 years with Dave Parker. So for 34 years in Pittsburgh, right field was manned by Clemente and Parker. That's when they were great. Okay, I mean, that's when Pittsburgh had Manny Sanguillen, Stargell, Al Oliver, and all them dudes. Just insane. Schmidt's a tremendous. I'll tell you what, Schmidt as a third baseman, is there a better third baseman in baseball history? That includes Brooks. The best third baseman of all time, is it Schmidt? Probably. Brett was great, but not the power that Schmidt had. Mike Schmidt plus the gold gloves. Schmidt's the greatest third baseman that's ever lived. Machado's a hell of a player. I mean, Machado's glove, even Brooks Robinson said, one of the greatest of all time. That's what Josh Allen Mahomes did last year. You got to criticize them for being risk averse. I'm not sure what you're talking there, Paul. Now, maybe if A-Rod, if you count him at third. See, A-Rod, actually, I think A-Rod was a better shortstop than Jeter. Remember, when A-Rod got to the Yankees, he had 3 gold gloves, too, as a shortstop. You forget that with Texas and with the Mariners. And he was the athlete. He moved to third. So I thought he was a better shortstop. He's a better player than Jeter. They did. The Pirates had great pitching. The Pirates had a great team. And by the way, Kyle, you know what's funny? Do you know the guy who built the Pirates during the 60s? Branch Rickey. He's the one that brought all the Dominican players in. I mean, Branch Rickey got fired from the Dodgers when they moved west. Branch Rickey took over the Pirates. He's the guy that signed Clemente. He's the guy that signed Manny Sanguillen. He's the guy that went out and brought in all those Dominican players. Doc Ellis and all them dudes. That's correct. Actually, the story goes like this with Clemente. So Clemente's last game at 72, he was playing against the Mets, and John Matlack gave up his 3,000th hit. I think it was 3 months later, he got on a plane flight. His body was never found, and he died in a plane crash. I think it was an earthquake in Costa Rica or something, and his body was never found. Here's something else to know. I had Manny Sanguillen on my program years and years ago. Manny Sanguillen went diving and looking for Clemente's body for 6 months and never found it. Went out to sea, and they were best friends. And one of the greatest. Yeah, Nolan Arenado. I think because he played in Colorado, but I think that kind of has been dispelled a little bit because when he went to St. Louis, he's a hell of a third baseman. Truly, really a great play. Just a great third baseman. I like Machado, though. This is why when Harper's bitching, bro, who said that what's his name is a great first baseman? Really? I don't think so. Puerto Rico, thank you. Thank you, man. I was too young to remember, but I've seen online a lot that Jeter was very overrated defensively. Is that true in your opinion? No. I just think that A-Rod was better. We're talking about 2 Hall of Famers. Okay? Dude, great poll. I mean, dude, this guy, if I'm not mistaken, am I right, Damon? 3,000 hits, 450 home runs. Dude, Adrian Beltre could fucking play. He was a great baseball player. My wife and I, believe it or not, when Wade Boggs got his 3,000 hit, my wife and I were there. And he hit a homer from when he was with the Rays. Yeah, Boggs, my wife and I were sitting in the owner's box. And Wade Boggs came to the plate, and he hit a home run for his 3,000th hit. Yeah, so we were there for that. So you remember that 18-inning Pirate game? I was at that game. Was that the 1-0 game that Henry Aaron hit the home run in like the bottom of the or the top of the bottom of the 18th? Kyle, was that the game? It was 0-0 for 18 innings, and Aaron hit a home run, and the Braves beat the Pirates 1-0. And was that the game that the guy was pitching a perfect game? Somebody pitched a perfect game for like 18 innings, and Aaron hit a homer in the bottom of that inning, and it was a 1-0 game. I forget who Harvey Haddix. Am I right, Damon? It was Harvey Haddix who was pitching for the Pirates, I think. And he had a perfect game going. And Aaron hit the home run in the bottom of the inning. Your favorite athletes of all time: Bo, Jay, and Roberto Duran. Ali is number one. Ali, my favorite athletes, Ali, Dr. J, Tom Seaver, and Lawrence Taylor. Eddie Matthews was another one, Sills. Tremendous player. Yep. Yankees won half their rings before other races could play. I completely agree. Baseball, to me, Phil, started in 1960. I don't count baseball. Now, the only reason I count Ruth played against the Negro Leagues and barnstormed. And he'd play against Satchel Paige and all them guys. So the Babe would go and play against he would play against all the Negro Leagues teams and the superstar teams. And the Babe would travel actually with the black players on a barnstorm. That's why Babe, when he got back to the white beer drinking league, known as Major League Baseball, he was dominating and crushing everybody. Because he was playing against some of the best players on the planet. One year he took Lou Gehrig with him. And that's the year Gehrig hit 49 bombs and Ruth hit 60 and 27. And Gehrig said one of the greatest things in my total career was going and barnstorming with Ruth. And those other players didn't do that. They wouldn't do it. But that's why Babe did that. So most of those, I look at baseball like from 1960 on. That's kind of where baseball, to me, really, when you get, that's why the Winter Olympics, those are all country club white guy sports. Skeet shooting, luge. There's no brothers in that game. That's not a diverse Olympics. I get it. Hey, look, I like the Olympics, but a guy coming down on a luge versus Usain Bolt running 100 meters, that's a different world. You know? Seals, you should try to get Nick. I've been working on that, trying to get Nick on. Okay? Seals, the only time I pulled for Philly was Pedro versus the Yankees. Love Pedro Martinez. Just absolutely one of the greatest pitchers that's ever played. Yeah, Kim, I like Bo Jackson was probably the best athlete I've ever played against. So was Herschel Walker. The best athletes, Kim, that I ever played against was Bo, Herschel, Dion. Bo, Herschel, Dion. And if I could pick one more, Bo, Herschel, Dion. Who would be the other one that I played against? It'd have to be Eric Dickerson. Those guys were just, Frank Robinson won the MVP in both leagues. If you remember right, he also was a Rookie of the Year with the Reds. And when he became the first black manager in baseball history, he was with the Cleveland Indians. Remember how he got the job, Mr. Hill? They told him, if you want to be the black manager of the Indians, you also have to play. So for him to get the job, Frank Robinson had to play. And Robinson was a Triple Crown winner too with the Orioles. His first year with the Orioles in 66. And if the next year, I think Yastrzemski won in 67, the Triple Crown. Robinson's one of the most underrated players of all time. Could you get Prime Time has a problem with me right now because I don't think he's doing a very good job at Colorado. Olympic hockey is like a all-star hockey. Look at the Canadian team. They're filthy. And listen, the thing that's different with Olympic hockey versus the NHL, the rink's bigger. And there's more space behind the net. Jim Craig told me that. The NHL rink is smaller. Okay. The Olympic hockey is more set up for spectacular skaters. Like if you've got a spectacular skating team, like back in the day, the Russians were so good because they were spectacular skaters. And the European hockey, the rinks are bigger. NHL, they're smaller. Like I said, there's more room behind the net in Olympic hockey and international hockey. NHL, it's tighter. Yeah, yes, he is a grumpy old man. I've asked him to come on my program a bunch of times. He's an ass. Hey, he is, man. Ordinary, yeah, you're right, Sills, but not right now. In Italy, it's 3 foot. Really, I didn't know that. Brian, I thought the rinks were bigger. Really, it's smaller, huh? Hey, dude, always know this about Big Sills. We never surrender. And when it comes to guests, I got a list of guys that I haven't had on yet. And Foles is up on that list, too, because I'm trying to work him, trying to get a couple contacts for him. We've already got Doug Peterson on. They're usually not this one. Interesting. I didn't realize that. Okay? I didn't. I didn't know that. I think we should sign Chubb and bring in another decent edge. We should let Phillips go. Yeah, because of the money. Sign Chubb for 12. Take the other 10, give it to Nakobe. Kick the can down the road on Jalen Carter and Jordan Davis. You can wait. You're in no hurry. You're in no hurry. Hey, what if Jordan Davis is the one that gets better, and it's not Jalen Carter, and he's more reliable? I might want to give him $25 million. See, to me, here's what's happened with me. Just because Jalen Carter's got all the talent in the world, he got to live up to it. And I think Jordan Davis has made this a competition. Who am I going to pay? I'm not paying both $50 million. I'm not doing that. I mean, where in God's name do you see two $50 million defensive tackles in the NFL? Can you name me a place? Two $50 million guys. Right now, he's making what? 13, 14? You're going to pay him another 7 and pay him $25 million? And then you're going to turn around and give Jalen Carter 35? That's $60 million. In your DTs? Wow. God forbid the guy gets hurt. You go from a $50 million guy, a $50 million tandem to no depth at all, and you're getting killed in the middle. I actually, like I said, to me, I actually think Jordan Davis is now making it a conversation. What if Jordan Davis goes into next year and he balls out and he gets 6.5 sacks and he gets 50 tackles, and all of a sudden Jalen Carter's still shitting himself? You going to sign that guy to a $28, $29 million deal because why? You think he's going to be great? I don't know. I'm with you, man. It's my biggest problem this offseason on a player. Dean's proven me wrong. He's a player. He's a player. He's just not built for the NFL. Like Nolan Smith. Those guys are not built for the league. Dean is great, but he's not good if he's only available 6 to 7 games a season. I completely agree. Makes sense if you don't have a $40 million edge. See, that's why you go and sign Chubb for 12. You sign Chubb for $12 million, okay? $12 million. You save the other 10. Maybe what you do is you chop it up and you give whatever, Blankenship if you want to keep him. See, Blankenship's another guy. He's expendable. I don't really care about that guy, especially if Vic's around 1 year. Vic's around 1 year. You get Blankenship, what, $7-8 million bucks? You think Blankenship's a $7-8 million guy? Well, Sills, important. Well, the safety play got better because Phillips showed up. He missed half his career on injuries. It'll make no sense talking about paying him top dollar. I don't think $12 million is top dollar. I don't think that's top dollar. Signing Phillips, Blankenship, etc. is dumb. Yeah, Phillips, I'm not paying $23 million for him. Let me say this to you, Mr. Hill. Jalen Carter, I'm down on. I think he's got Jerome Brown talent. Yeah, he's got Jerome Brown talent. You know what he doesn't have with Jerome? A desire to want to be great every play. Now, Jerome took plays off. He did. And do you know who Jerome was rep by? Who was Jerome Brown rep by? Does anybody know who his agent was? Anybody remember? Might be too young for you guys or too old for you guys. Does anybody remember who Drew Rosenhaus? I said it. Drew Rosenhaus repped Jerome. And now he reps Jalen Carter. That's right. Rosenhaus reps him. Yep. One of the very first people he signed. I told you the story on Rosenhaus. So Drew Rosenhaus was an aspiring agent. He went to Miami, by the way, just so you know. He went to the University of Miami. And he would show up at our practice facility. And at the time, the NCAA was all over us. And he was paying people. It's a true story. He was paying. I'll give you for instance. One day an agent handed me, and I'm not going to tell you who. An agent handed me a bag with 10 grand in it. This is a true story. My aunt knows this. My grandfather made me give it back. I brought it home. My grandfather looked in the bag and he said he made me take it back. And so I had a bag. I had 10 grand in it. And I got on the airplane. I remember going home. The guy handed it to me. He goes, "We'll talk when you get home from break." Okay. I had $10,000. I was going to take my buddies out. I think maybe I used like $300. I took my friend to a dinner. Jim Colford has just since passed. And I remember I got to my grandfather's. He goes, "What's in the bag?" I said, "Look, guy gave me 10 grand. He goes, "Nobody gives you anything. What do you owe him?" He goes, "He wants to sign me as his agent." He goes, "Of course he does. You're easy. Give it back." I'm like, "Grandpa, I don't want to give it back." He goes, "Give it back." I had to go down to Miami. And I had to give this guy back 10 grand. Here's how much you take out of it. I go, "No, I had to put the 300 back in. My grandfather didn't want me owing you anything." My grandfather made me give $10,000 back. Yep. That's right, Yale. It's about 50 grand today. Brown paper back. This is a true story. We had agents everywhere at UM. I can't tell you how many people handed. I remember one guy, some alumni guy, handed me like $7,000 once. And I was at the tourist room. I was parking cars. Guy came out. I parked this Jaguar. He goes, "Here's 7 grand. And I was like, shit. I think this is great. A lot of that stuff. 10K at Club Space would have been a hell of a night. No, it was more strawberries, dude. That was the name of the joint. Not that I know anything about that stuff. All right. Woo, man. Angelo got him some ass today.